stronger than before. Go Zeo, hope is not a bore. Go Zeo, time for season 4. Zeo, Ranger Danger.
Welcome back to Ranger Danger Zeo. This is the podcast where we bring you into our inner circle. My name's Matt.
Hi guys, Michael here.
Michael's here. Today we're going to be watching episode 157 of Power Rangers overall, episode number 2 of Power Rangers Zeo, entitled A Zeo Beginning Part 2.
Yeah, this is exciting.
I'm jazzed because I think now we're going to start seeing some real artifacts of Zeo. There's a lot of setup last week, but I think now we're into the meat of the...
Yeah, we should get a better look at the command chamber, figure out like what exactly the deal is with the bad guys, maybe some Zords, maybe some powers, some morphing. Ooh, I hadn't thought they'll have like a new morphing sequence. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how it all shapes up.
How long have you been saving that one for?
About 30 seconds.
All right, fair enough.
So what we're going to do is, rather than talk about something now before we get into watching the episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about A Ranger, which is the Sentai that this season is based off.
Yep.
But rather than do that now, we're going to go watch the episode and then come back and talk about it and then compare it to that.
Yeah, once we've got a better idea of what this show itself is, and also so I don't accidentally see any spoilers.
Exactly. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So I should tell you that there are things on the internet. One of the things on the internet is our website. That's www.rangedangerpodcast.com. If you want to send us an internet email, we're rangedangerpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
If Twitter tweets is your jam, send us a Twitter tweet. We're at RangerDcast on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google+. Plus, we have a shop, rangedangerpodcast.com/shop, where you can buy things and stuff.
Yep.
We should probably think about getting some Zeo-themed stuff up there.
Yeah. Do you guys like shirts with shapes on them?
I mean, many shirts have shapes, so I feel like we'd be fitting in well with convention there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have any, one episode in, I don't have any real strong idea. Ooh, that could be cool.
Yeah, look at that. You're already going.
Yeah, maybe.
This is why it was a good idea to do a podcast with a designer.
Yeah. All right. We will, we'll see. We'll definitely let you know if that turns into a thing. I'll have to do some sketches and see if it'll work.
Yep. So we're going to go watch A Zeo Beginning Part 2. You can as well if you'd like. And we'll be back having watched the episode in just a moment. And we're back. That was weird in a different way to the last episode.
Yeah, also not really an episode of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But closer.
Yeah, certainly.
Leaning you can definitely see how we're just now in a position for next episode to be...
a real episode of Power Rangers.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
But... a bunch of things I think that we have to talk about this episode.
Yeah, definitely. But also it felt underwhelming, nothing happened, despite the fact that there's lots of bits to talk about.
I think there was lots of stuff, but it was all just establishing stuff. Yeah. We see the Power Rangers morph, but then all they do is do a 30-second fight with the new putties. They don't beat a monster or...
And even their morph, we'll get to it, but they get their powers, and then they morph while morph, so it doesn't even feel like a real morph.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, there's a bunch of, it undercuts itself because it doesn't have time to do a proper thing.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe a 3-parter would have been the way to go and just leave some of the stuff. But anyway, we'll get to it all.
Yep.
So... immediately we get that command center establishing shot we were talking about last week.
Yeah, there it is.
And we'll get it again,
forever.
After we cut away. So that's clearly what's going on there.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bummer, but that's fine. That's how it is. So what about Zordon?
Yeah, where is Zordon?
Says, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. He's fine. He's just... See the tube?
Yeah.
There he is. He's in the tube.
He just comes downstairs.
Something about that is really not okay with me.
Him coming down
in the tube.
I tell you what, though, it would have been maybe 15 episodes ago. He was both him and Alpha were away because of some sort of maintenance or lunar eclipse or some shit.
Yep.
And then he came up from the bottom.
Sure.
And you're like, oh, where does he go? Like, that's really weird. But I knew about this, so in my
Right.
mind, I was like, oh, he's just gone down to the command chamber.
Sure.
And now in my mind, I see it's very clear that it's just like one tube.
Something about him having a spatial relationship with the tube
Yeah.
is really not okay because he's not a head in a tube that moves up and down.
I mean, originally he wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a signal of someone trapped in a time warp.
Yeah.
But as Power Rangers go on, we'll discover that he is actually in the tube.
Kind of, maybe.
Kind of.
Possibly.
So that makes more sense.
I guess.
Yeah.
So he's fine. He's got a new tube. The tube looks a little different.
Yep.
So it's just it's smaller.
It is a
like,
bit smaller.
It's not as tall. He's more raised than he was before.
Yeah, and it's certainly in a less prominent position in the command chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which is called at some point
the power center.
the power. It's just like, come on, guys, you can't choose a name, stick with it. It's the command chamber. It will be called that. I know from here on out, but don't fucking trip over it on the second episode.
I mean, I certainly I know I recognize it from Turbo. Like, I'm sure it gets a makeover at some point and it looks a little different, but like, this is a space that I understand as being part of Power Rangers for quite a while.
Yep.
Know what it's called.
Yes. It's
Anyway.
the second episode. Just read the script from last week. God damn.
All right. So Zordon's like, how do you like this surprise, huh? Huh? Alpha's been building it for a while. And I don't know why he didn't maybe mention to them that there was a spare bunker.
He says, oh, I didn't want to alarm you. But like, what's alarming about, hey guys, we're building another room.
There's more. Have you guys been downstairs? We've just got more downstairs, just in case.
We're doing some reno.
Anyway, at one point he specifically calls out like Tanya being there. She has had the weirdest day. This morning it was 20 years ago and Africa.
20 years ago, maybe a lot more, maybe less.
And then she met a girl who was like, I'm going to stick around here. You should go home and meet my friends. And then...
And become older?
Yeah, when you take this crystal back, that's what will happen.
Yep.
And then she met a floating head in a tube and a robot. And then the entire room exploded because of a giant lion man and an army skeleton. And then all of this shit happens. And, like, she's taken it in her stride, but...
Yeah, she hasn't even had time, I don't think, to consider the fact that she skipped puberty.
Oh, boy. So, a dark and evil force has descended on our galaxy.
Yeah.
And Tanya's like, is it Rita and Lord Zedd? And Zordon's like, come on, keep up. I know you're new to this, but they're not... No, we've had them for ages. We've got some new guys. We've got the Machine Empire.
They broke away from, like, the United Nations of Evil.
The United Alliance of Evil.
Right.
Yes, the United Nations of Evil. So the Rangers have got questions. How come we've never heard of them before?
I just like to say, I love that they're setting up the United Alliance of Evil now.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that will actually stick around for seasons.
Yep.
And it's surprisingly forward-thinking to be like, maybe we shouldn't just keep pretending that there's only one type of evil in the galaxy until the next one shows up.
Yep.
We can start doing some world building. They're doing it now.
So, they've got questions. How come we've never heard of them before? I love that as a question. Like, 15 weeks ago, you heard that there were other Power Rangers on another planet. Like, guys, there's other shit going on, and we cannot tell you about all of it all the time,
Yes.
okay? If we told you there's another planet that a dude called Hydro Hog attacks all the time, like, you guys can't hold all of that information in your heads. We're just keeping you on what's important.
Yeah, Zordon's like, remember Master Rider? You've forgotten Master Rider because you need to have forgotten Master Rider because there's too much to remember.
If you have to think about where is Master Rider all the time,
Yeah.
you'll be very busy. So that's why.
We've very intentionally kept you out of the loop regarding the Beetleborgs. Don't think about those
Wait
guys.
till I tell you about fucking Dark Spectre, okay? It's a long way off, but you will be shocked. So, Alpha can't handle all the questions. He sparks from the top of his head now. I guess he's probably going to do that a bit.
Probably. I
He's
feel like he could probably use an upgrade in that department.
it's like maybe don't shoot sparks from the top of your head. 6
questions probably shouldn't be enough to make the robot malfunction.
All right, so we've got King Mondo,
Yep.
the Machine King, Queen Machina, Prince Sprocket, Clank, who is their Scottish footman, who is already the best one. And he's got...
We haven't even got to his catchphrase yet.
He's got Orbis, who is like a baby robot that sits on his shoulder. There's Cogs, which are the new putties. They're completely mechanized and they have no fear.
Yep.
And they must be completely dismantled to be destroyed.
Yes.
There you go. That's the bad guys now.
And there's also, like, multiple types of Cogs. And we get a hint of that in this episode.
We see two, I think. So the Cogs, to describe them, I guess, like silver jumpsuits or... like
maroon?
Bronzy, purpley, reddy, like jumpsuits. And then like a metal mask on top.
Yep.
I like the metal mask part. The jumpsuit is like, it just looks like a jumpsuit.
Yep.
But it's a fine look.
It's pretty cool. I will say that the establishing shot for the Machine Empire is cool, but it's also weirdly specific that it kind of jumps out, because you always see the same two walkers coming in from the left and the same group of Cogs walking in from the right. And because there's specific visual points of individual reference, it really keys you into like, oh, I'm seeing the same footage every time.
Yeah.
As opposed to an establishment of the command center, which you see 100 times, but you never really, I don't think, get clued into the fact that, oh, it's exactly the same thing.
Because it's just like, okay, we're at the command center now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, anyway, I really like kings. Like, as a fictional... like, not...
Okay.
Like, I don't have any particularly strong feelings about kings in the real world.
Right,
Like,
I do.
They did some... You know, we've had some... Some of them were good, some of them were not good. Like...
That's true.
I don't... You know, kings are fine. I don't really want to have a king, but if we had a king, I don't know that I'd give a shit either.
Really?
I mean,
if we were ruled by...
if we had a king in the same way that, like, England has a queen...
Well,
like,
but we have a queen.
Yes.
We have that
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think when she dies, we should probably stop having it, because that'll be fine. But I'm not like, right now we have to change it.
I'm pretty staunchly against the idea of a royal family on principle.
Sure.
Because I think, even though there's not a whole lot of functional power, just as a statement about our society, it really says you can be born more important than other people.
Of course you can, though.
But I don't like that.
It's true.
But yeah, it's true because we let it be true. It's true because we have a royal family and we still incorporate that into our system.
I mean, Matt, some people are just better than other people. They're just born with magic powers that are given to them by their mother.
No.
That's true.
No.
That's true.
I will say, though...
royalty is wizards.
I was talked into having some nuance in my perspective, though, by an old boss I had, who was saying...
Who was a king.
Yeah.
And who said, Matthew, you will introduce nuance into your perspective.
And I was like,
or
yes,
I shall
Majesty.
have you beheaded.
Yes. No, he was saying that it's good that the Queen seems to be a pretty solid person, because her ability to be a representative of the people as a check against other systems is actually very beneficial. So if something rotten is at the core of the government or the judicial system, she's able to sit apart from that and be like, I want a royal commission, look into this and figure out what's going on and report back to me, and I'll figure out what's best for the people to sort this situation out.
Yes.
And
she wants to keep the people happy, because otherwise the people will say, we could just stop having a queen now.
Yeah. And like, I can see that being very useful somewhere like America, where the system can become problematic and need some outside intervention.
We probably, by the time this goes out, we'll be like 3 weeks out from a United States presidential election. From the other side of the country, guys, it's terrifying.
Sorry, outside the world, you mean?
Yes. I don't know if something's happened by the time this airs that, like, it's suddenly become less terrifying, but it seems like there is not a thing that can happen that will make that happen.
I think my heart rate has just been like 10 BPM up for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Guys, if you're not registered to vote,
please.
It's probably too late, but please vote.
Please vote.
And I look, genuinely, don't let me sway your political views in any way. Like, make up your own mind, come to your own decision. But you guys have clearly got a choice between someone you might not like a little and an actual madman. So, like, you know.
Yeah, it's cool. No, sorry, I'm not going to say it's cool to be a Republican. It's fine to be a Republican.
Absolutely, 100%.
If you believe in fiscal conservatism and smaller government, I don't agree with that strategy, but that's fine. But maybe you holding to those beliefs doesn't have to also entail you voting in an egotistical racist monster. So, that's Mighty Morphin Politics Danger.
No, Matt. Politics Danger Zeo.
There we go.
That's right. We're in a brand new season. Seriously, guys, what the shit? Like, really? Really? I'm not saying that our country's political system is great. We've had like 6 prime ministers in the last 6 minutes.
Yep.
But none of them have been just insane people. I mean, one of them did eat an onion just raw. He just bit into... Did we ever figure out what the fuck that was about?
No, he's just a weird dude.
How do you...
But, like, the consequences of that were bad for him and weird for us in a sort of morale sort of way.
Yes.
But, like, less nuclear weapons involved.
Tanya did not ever have his finger on a nuclear button.
No.
Thank Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I like fictional kings. I can't really explain what it is. It's something about like they have systems in place that you can like automatically understand that put people in like interesting narrative positions.
I think I know what it is.
Do you?
You like spreadsheets.
I don't
And a king institutes spreadsheets for people.
I don't understand.
Because like a court of people is such a like specifically hierarchical structure that has like universal constants.
I think it's just that it like that stuff all works as shorthand.
Yes.
So like if you say this is the king, this is the prince, this is the vizier.
Yes.
Like straight away you don't have to make those characters do much work
Yep.
to understand what those things mean.
Yes.
And then we can pick up like, all right, now this is also who they are.
Sure.
Whereas like Lord Zedd shows up, like what's his actual relationship with Rita in terms of the power structure of the like
Where does Gold
he's
fit
her
in?
boss, but what's like
Yeah.
what's going on? This is like okay, this is great. They've got a footman who is Scottish.
What's a
planets
footman, Michael?
it's like a handman, but on the other, it's have you heard about dangling and dipping and heel popping? It's like you got like no, is that too far?
What are you talking about?
That's a foot fetish thing, which I know about. Dan Harmon has spoken about it on his podcast. Dangling is like
I don't want to know.
and dipping.
Nah.
I mean, heel popping is self-explanatory.
Nah.
Some people need to see shoes for their bonus ticket. Okay, is that not?
I'm going to start shooting sparks out of my head.
Okay. A footman, Matthew, is a liveried servant whose duties include admitting visitors and waiting at table.
Oh, so he's a waiter.
I don't think so. I'm bringing it up. Hold on. Here we go. Footman. Okay, so he's like a servant.
Yes.
But he's not like the butler who is in charge of the house.
Yes.
He's like the king's guy.
Got it. Right. It's like a right-hand man
Yeah.
sort of situation. Yep.
So he's less essential than the people who run the house, but he's also like he gets power because he is like below the king.
Sure. So he's kind of like Alfred to Batman in that Alfred isn't just a butler.
Yes.
He's also like Batman's guy.
He does some stuff for him, but he's not Robin.
Yes.
He's not like the next
field.
guy in the chain. If Batman dies, Alfred doesn't become Batman.
Yes.
But he's like, Batman calls him and says, I need this. Alfred's like, yes, got it.
I'm on it.
So in this particular case, the footman, Clank,
I think so, yeah.
he was like sent to kill Rita and Lord Zedd with the soldiers. So like he wasn't, that was something that he was trusted to go and do on his own.
Yep.
So that's all the bad guys. He's Scottish. I don't know why he's Scottish. I don't know why he's got a baby that floats around him. That's weird, but
Oh boy, you don't know the half of that shit yet.
oh god, that's terrifying. Okay, so Bulk and Skull are working on that bike. when someone knocks at the door.
Yeah, they smell real bad too.
It's Goldar and Rito.
It sure is.
It's Goldar and Rito.
Yep. What are your emotions, Michael?
They all do like a comedy. Benny Hill run around at fast motion.
Yeah, it's a bit shit.
And then they run into each other and all knock each other out.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to skip ahead to the end. They're like, can we live with you? We will do anything. Bulk and Skull are like, fine, be our servants and you can live with us. I
gotta say, like, I didn't love the actual scenes in this episode.
Sure.
But as a way to break up the comedy, in air quotes, segments of this show, being like, yeah, now Rito and Goldar live with Bulk and Skull is something I'm super on board with.
I think my nervousness is, if you were writing this now, that ends with, at the end of the season, Rito and Goldar remember who they are and brutally slaughter Bulk and Skull.
It's not going to happen.
I know, but like, you know, are they ever going to remember what's going on? Like, how does that... It definitely doesn't involve a sword and, like, Skull's severed head. Mm-hmm. But, like, what happens? I'm just...
See, the thing is that I think you're applying, like...
regular TV show logic?
More like episode 2 Goldar to the situation.
Sure.
As opposed to the Goldar of the past 60 episodes who's been...
got kicked off a bus by children.
Yes. Like, that's where Goldar is at now. He's not a threat to anyone at this point.
It's just... It's a bizarre... Like, given that what we see at the end of this episode seems to be Rita and Lord Zedd and the rest of those supporting guys on a bus.
Yes.
Like, they might show up occasionally, but probably will not be a regular fixture of this season. Mm-hmm. It seems like a bizarre decision to keep around 2 extra comic relief characters who will now, like, operate alongside Bulk and Skull and Lieutenant Stone.
Yeah, I gotta say, though, like, think about the writer's room in that situation. They're like, okay, what's our gimmick going to be with Bulk and Skull this year? They want to discover the Power Rangers powers. That was a bit shit. They were bullies. That was just kind of uncomfortable. What are they going to do now? Maybe they can, I don't know, try and discover Power Rangers identities again. And someone in the room was like, what if we just made Goldar and Rito their slaves? Yes, okay, that's an interesting idea.
Imagine going back to, like, us 3 and a bit years ago watching episode 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and saying, guys, episode 2 of Zeo, you see that gold guy who you're still a bit scared of and those 2 bullies who you don't really like as characters, he's going to get amnesia and he's going to end up being their slave.
Yes.
You guys, how do you feel about that?
Yes.
This show has done a lot of things in 3 years.
But there's also been, like, 157 episodes.
Yep.
So that's a lot of episodes of any TV show.
It's like 7 seasons of a regular TV show.
Yes. So the fact that things have gotten to a weird place isn't so strange, given that number.
I'm surprised we haven't had a musical episode yet.
Yeah, I mean, God willing.
Oh, boy. All right, so let's deal with the Power Rangers now.
Yes.
So the power coins are gone forever.
Can I just say at this point too, a small detail that I love.
Yeah.
And it's weird that we're getting some great small details and also we're forgetting the name of the main set in this season.
Yeah.
The small detail is that they're still covered in dirt and look like they haven't had a shower.
Yep, absolutely.
Because they just were in an explosion.
Yeah.
And that's cool that they held on to that.
Yeah, so the power coins gone forever.
Yep.
But luckily, we do have the Zeo Crystal now. Mm-hmm. And Billy, before we go any further, he wants to say something. Zeo Crystal has 5 bits in it. That means there's enough power for 5 Rangers, apparently. I don't know that holds up, but that's fine. And Tanya immediately is like, guys, I've been here for like 30 minutes. I'm happy to step out. I'm not saying I will just leave automatically, but if someone's going to leave,
fair.
Would make total sense for it to be me. And Billy's like, no, bitch, you are just here forever.
You signed a contract.
So basically, Billy thinks that he would be more useful doing science in the command center than being a Power Ranger, which is a feeling that he has because that's what he's been doing for the past 8 episodes.
Yeah. Which, like, they set that up.
Yeah.
Good job, show, for setting up a thing.
I'm surprised because the Hog Day Afternoon made a specific effort to have Billy, like, injured at, like, in the explosion in a way the others weren't.
Yes.
And knowing that Billy would end up as not a Power Ranger, I figured that was the logical...
Me too, yeah.
But he just, like...
He was fine.
He doesn't even mention that he was, like, wounded in any way.
No, he actually says in this episode, like, if he needs to step up and take the Zeo powers at some point, that's fine.
Yeah.
So that's clearly not an issue.
It's like, so basically, if someone dies, you guys got a replacement, like, right here.
Yep.
Yeah, so he gives his crystal to Tanya.
Yes.
Which isn't his crystal and isn't how it... Anyway, it's metaphorical,
yes.
basically. And she's happy, which is a weird reaction after the morning that she's been having, right?
Yeah, you get to be a Power Ranger, you're happy. I get that.
None of her family are there. She's in a completely new city and 20 years into the future.
But she's going to get to drive a giant robot, so...
There's a new alarm. The Command Center's alarm's changed now.
Yeah, it's colourful.
Yeah.
Yay.
There's been a breach in the outer atmosphere security grid.
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay, sure.
Yeah. King Mondo has sent his Quadro fighters.
They fight 4 times, and then they're done.
That's better than the putties. They only got one fight. So...
No, the quadrifighters are the planes.
Oh, the planes.
Yep.
Right. Fair enough.
I think it's actually because they have 4 propellers.
That would make sense, I guess. All right, so it's time for everyone to accept the powers of the Zeo Crystal.
Yeah.
They get their Zeonizers, which are 2 just giant bracelets.
They're pretty big, yeah.
Like, do they wear them all the time?
I want you to see what the deal with Zeonizers is.
If they just wear them all the time, then, like, if people don't notice that they're the Power Rangers, people are idiots.
Well, it's 90s. The fashion was crazy. People wore all sorts of bracelets.
Yeah, but if you didn't know who the Power Rangers were and had 5 color-coded friends who were constantly wearing weird science bracelets, do you think maybe you'd start to suspect?
Maybe.
Like, the belt buckles, that might just be a fashion thing.
Yeah.
No one was wearing, like, science wristbands.
There were some pretty weird wristbands.
There were some pretty weird wristbands. Okay, so we don't really get a morphing sequence right now.
No.
We just get, like... Everyone gets transformed by Zordon, I guess. They get, like, the helmet on and then they get the outfit on.
Yep.
So, Catherine is Zeo 1.
Zeo Ranger 1, pink.
Yep. Tanya is Zeo Ranger 2, yellow.
Yep.
And then Zordon says, and the rest of you guys have got new colours. I hope you're okay with that.
Yep.
It's made out like the natural purpose of the Zeo Crystal is to provide Power Rangers powers.
Yes.
And... they have got colours, like, we're not tapping it to use it to do a thing.
No, it has colours in mind.
It's got, like, it's ready for Power Rangers. So you just have to be the blue one now.
What I do appreciate that kind of was, I would say set up, that's probably too much credit, but there was some alluding to that in Alien Rangers when the Rangers would get their individual Zeo crystals and it would spark with their colours, and those sparks would actually make the shape.
Yep.
And it suggests this idea that, yeah, like each of those shards has a colour and a shape associated with it already.
Yep.
That's not a Zordon creation.
Yeah. So Rocky is Zeo Ranger 3, blue.
Yep.
So Rocky's the new Blue Ranger.
Yep.
Adam has gone from black to Zeo Ranger 4, green.
Yes.
And Tommy is Zeo Ranger 5, red.
Yep.
And so that's them now.
Shall we talk about the outfits?
Yeah, let's. They're fucking rad.
I do like them a lot.
I like the shapes shouldn't work.
Yeah, but they kind of do, right?
They kind of do.
Yeah.
And the actual outfit thing, that's some good shot.
Yeah, for a while I felt that the gold bits on the outfit were kind of overdone.
Sure.
But because it's geometry based, I think a little busyness actually isn't bad in this particular instance.
Yeah, the helmets are quite simple.
Yeah.
In that, like, they don't even have the silver mask bit. They've just got, like...
a mouth shape.
The mouth shape in the colour.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds just, like, they've got white gloves and boots. They've got gold trim and gold belts. And they've just got, like, that top bit in white.
Yeah.
They're cool.
How do you feel about the Rangers having numbers?
I don't love it. Like, I like that the numbers correspond to their helmets.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it okay for me, is that it's about the shapes. It's not numbers for the sake of numbers.
Yeah, so Catherine is 1 and she's got the oval.
Yep.
Tanya is 2 and she's got like 2 lines.
Yep.
Rocky's 3 and he's got a triangle. Adam's 4 and he's got a rectangle. Tommy's 5 and he's got a star.
Yes.
So not quite consistent with what the number means, but...
Yeah, it's a, like, slightly off because you can't make... Even with 2, like...
Yes.
Technically, there's, like, 8 sides on that, but we get where you're going, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just... I guess it's strange because, like, the natural inference is that Tommy is the leader because he's the Red Ranger again.
Mm-hmm.
But then if he's 5... That makes Catherine, like, 1 would be the other end of the
spectrum.
scale. And, like, she's been there longer than Tanya. Why is Tanya 2? I'm fine with Adam being right under Tommy.
Oh, 100%. That's
like,
exactly where he belongs. If anything, he deserves to be 5, but we'll let that slide.
Yeah. It's strange, but I can't imagine that other than them saying it when they morph, it's a big deal. So... Fine. And I actually realised when Kat does that morph that I've seen it, because they show up at the start of the Turbo movie before they get the turbo powers.
That's cool.
So, like, I did actually, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that is something that I recognise, kind of.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that's the thing, right? They take their helmets off.
Yes.
And Zordon's like, okay, guys, here's what you need to know. Got lots of new stuff.
Yep.
I'm going to keep all of that secret for now because that's how this show works.
Yep.
The Power Rangers, as you know them, are gone forever. They're right behind you because right behind them are the old suits like Robin's in
display
the
cases.
Batcave. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
It's my favourite thing in the fucking world.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Don't get me wrong. I love it.
Yeah.
But I just... You know the problem that you have with the taking off of the helmets and what do the suits mean?
Yes.
Like... The power coins are gone forever.
Yes.
But someone's just got those suits there.
In my mind, they're just like recreations.
Alpha just went to Spotlight and bought some
Spent a lot of
jumpsuits
time
and,
just, sewing some stuff up.
Okay, that's fine. And I love how it looks.
Yeah.
And it's something that other seasons of Power Rangers occasionally, in Super Mega Force, the walls of their room are lined with those keys.
Yes.
So you get that feeling of history.
Yeah.
The show never plays on it properly.
Yes.
But in the Dino Charge base where they've got their energems along the walls.
Yes.
And just something that makes it this is a Power Rangers room.
Yes.
And even when you're not morphed, you look around and you feel like this is a Power Rangers place.
Yes.
And I wish that you would tell me that 40 episodes from now a monster would attack and they'd have to grab the weapons from inside those tubes. And,
because in the middle is all of the power weapons in suspended animation, and that's exactly what you want,
what I mean?
right?
You have to do an episode where someone attacks Batman in the Batcave.
Yes.
And he uses the T-Rex and the penny, right?
Yes.
That's a thing that has to happen, and I'm sure it won't.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the... It's not a trope. It's like a screenwriting principle where, if there's a gun...
Oh, it's Chekhov's gun.
Thank you, Chekhov's gun. If it's there's a gun hanging over the bar, just sitting there, and you see it in shot, you've got to, at some point, get the gun and use it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's wasted
And
potential.
if that gun is a giant Power Rangers combination monstrosity,
yes,
you'd better fucking shoot the shit out of something.
Yeah.
But because I can already see it in my head, the monster knocks one of them back and they break the glass and they're like, shit, this dude is strong, but I just fell into the power sword.
Yeah.
So I'm just on it, right?
It's a little dusty, and he just sort of runs his hand across it to dust it off. It's all right, let's do this.
That's great.
Especially if it's Tommy, because that was Jason's weapon.
Yep.
And I don't think Rocky even really used it. So it's Jason. So he picks up what was never his, but he's the Red Ranger now. So he's taking that legacy. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
No, I know it's not going to happen. But, just the concept that maybe it could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of that, just reminder of legacy there.
Yeah.
To the point where I wish in the current TARDIS in Doctor Who, particularly because he's the 12th Doctor and that's a clock, right?
Yes.
And it's a circular room.
Yep.
You could have stations, not stations is sort of overstating it, but just elements of each of the previous Doctors, even if it's just a bit of wardrobe or something.
Sure.
That sort of speaks to all of what he's been.
It's in the episode Neil Gaiman wrote when it's suddenly we go back to the old TARDIS because that's just because we have to do it eventually.
Yes.
And you just go like,
Yes.
because having a legacy is meaningless if you don't ever talk about it.
Yes.
It's like the current Power Rangers are like the 20th group of Power Rangers, but if they never get to meet any other Power Rangers,
It doesn't mean anything.
they might as well be the first group of Power Rangers.
Yes.
And like Tommy says at the end of this episode, once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
Yeah.
And that's something that is so core to my idea of the franchise and so tangential to apparently anyone else's.
Yes and no. Like, we say that, but that, like, specific phrasing
Yes.
of that idea...
Absolutely.
Like, 15 years down the track is going to come up as very important.
Yeah, I just, like, I'm hoping we're nearing the 25th anniversary of Power Rangers. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, 25 years of a TV show, especially a dumb kids TV show like this one that, by all rights, has been nearly cancelled or cancelled like 8 times.
Yes.
That's, like, that's important.
Yes.
And I hope that, I think, and I hope that Judlin is a guy who gets that.
I think he is. And I think that when someone who cares about that stuff comes along, they make it work as best they can.
Yeah.
And we get it like once every 5 years maybe.
Yeah.
But when it happens, like, fuck, it's good.
I just miss team-ups, Matt. Mm-hmm. I want the Dino Charge cast to go and meet the new Ninja Steel cast.
Yes. I want that too, Michael.
Two of them are brothers.
Yes, Michael.
Even if they're not brothers on the show, I don't care.
Yep.
I just want them to do a thing. They're both the same color of Power Ranger.
Yep.
If you're telling me you can't see the shot of them standing back-to-back fighting monsters, you are an idiot.
Yeah, and also, I hate you.
Yeah.
If you don't want that, we're not friends.
All I want is, like, and bring Austin St. John back. I know he's not in, like, Power Rangers shape, but, like, dude looks good enough to do it.
Yeah.
Just don't get anyone else back. That's fine. Just let him do a thing. Give him the sword. Give him a blade blaster. Let him just attack a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just, come on, guys. 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. We I would say we deserve it, because that's presumptive. But...
We've sat through a lot of shit. Right? There's been a lot of shit, okay?
Yeah.
And I know there's good stuff coming, and even these 2 episodes are like, the show has definitely taken a turn that I hope continues. But just, come on, please.
I'll tell you what, Michael, I think the reason that Ranger Danger exists is because every now and then they leverage the legacy. And that's what I'm interested in.
Sure.
It's like, I love Doctor Who, but one of the reasons I love Doctor Who is because it's a show with a 50-year history.
Yep.
And they use it as best they can. If Power Rangers was always, like, every season, it was like there was never another season of Power Rangers, which it kind of is, but if they never took those few moments to use that, I wouldn't care anymore.
Sure.
And I don't think we'd be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unfair to say that, like, most of the high points of the show are moments that trade on that stuff. They're
Yes.
like, Forever Red is a big, dumb 22-minute action movie
Yes.
that plays on the fact that there is 10 Red Power Rangers.
Yes.
And how fucking great is that?
Yes.
And there's, like, all of those great team-up episodes that are like, you know what? You guys need help. Mm-hmm. Why not call a friend?
Yes. Even like Countdown to Destruction doesn't feature any previous Rangers, but it's about everything that led up to that point, including all the people who aren't there.
Yes.
Which is super good. Yeah. So that's why I love those display cases.
Yeah.
Seeing them, like, just...
I mean, if Matt hasn't sold you now, like, come on, mustn't be the podcast for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you telling me no one ever grabs one of those weapons? Ever?
Look, I haven't seen all of Zeo.
Yeah, I know.
It's not impossible,
I know.
but
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
I know.
It's too good to happen.
You can't just hang the power blaster after 2 seasons of not using it.
We haven't seen it in so long.
Remember when they had that bazooka that they put coloured balls into the back of?
Yeah.
And they used that like twice?
Twice? Yes. Yeah.
And I want Tor. I like Tor. He was a dumb giant turtle robot.
Tor's the best.
It was the best.
It's the best. What's bizarre to me is that you have to be looking at the background of that shot to see the power weapons quite closely.
Yep.
And it's the first time we've seen their power weapons in like 100 episodes.
I'm amazed they still had them.
Yeah. Is that not a big enough deal to have the shot, like, I say focus on them. I don't mean be central to the frame, but just have that be in focus in the shot.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope we see them again. We have to move on.
Yes.
All right, so here's the thing, right? Now they morph.
Yes. Despite the fact they're already morphed.
They're morphed and holding their helmets.
Yeah.
And the show had figured out a solution to that where that's back to action.
Yes, but they weren't previously in action.
Yeah, but even like they could have gotten away with saying back to action. It's like they wanted a morphing sequence, but also wanted to do this thing of like, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who you are.
Yes. And they did not figure out a way to thread those two things together properly.
I don't know why they didn't just like, right, lights on you in the right colours, this is who you are, don't morph them.
Yep.
Now it's morphin' time. Does Tommy say it's morphin' time?
No.
Oh, come on, guys.
Yeah, he says Power Rangers Zeo, which is like, we get it, you're trying to establish the brand, but fuck. You have one job.
That's the thing too, Zordon is like, you're not the Power Rangers anymore, you're the Power Rangers Zeo.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quite work.
Yeah, I think too, they should be in universe the Zeo Rangers.
Yeah, or the Zeo Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It's an adjective.
Oh, also, this might be something we need to look up.
Sure.
But I'm pretty sure for a decent chunk of the original airing of this run, the show was called Zeo Rangers.
Really?
And the opening title said, rather than Power Rangers Zeo with that logo that we know, just Zeo Rangers.
Huh.
And I think they must have gone back and changed that. I don't know if it was when they put it up on Netflix or maybe when they put it out on DVD or something. Because even within the show's run itself, they eventually went back to Power Rangers Zeo.
Right, because of course.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that they went to the trouble to go back and actually fix the opening titles for the first episode.
Sure, I mean, look, there's nothing about that on the Wikipedia page, but I'm sure one of our listeners will write in and tell us what the deal is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the reason that they've morphed, can we talk briefly about the morphing sequence? I absolutely understand why, but like Tommy and Rocky are already in their new colours in the morphing sequence.
Yes.
And it just pulls you out just
for a second, yeah.
a little too much.
Yep.
Adam gets away with it because like his shirt isn't really bright green. It's like a really, really dark green. So it's fine. But they're just, yeah. It's just like maybe you could just Photoshop the colours. But I understand why you would want to do that.
Yeah.
But
This is a weird, unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
So, Michael.
yes.
Have a look at this.
Oh, that's definitely a Zeo Rangers logo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's what it looks like for a bit.
I absolutely understand why you'd go with Power Rangers Zeo.
Yeah, just from a brand point of view.
Yeah.
Also, that looks a lot like it says Zed Rangers, which is the wrong idea.
Yeah, bad call.
But in universe, it makes a lot more sense that way for them to be the Zeo Rangers. And I'm pretty sure even in like when they came back in air quotes for Super Mega Force and they're on the cliff, it's like, oh, it's the Zeo Rangers.
Yeah.
So it's how you refer to them.
Yeah, I mean that's the naming structure that we get for the rest of them. They're the Turbo Rangers, the Space Rangers.
Yeah.
Space Rangers is weird because they're just like Power Rangers in space is a descriptive phrase. It's not.
Yeah, the problem is that name for the team is more of a descriptive term as opposed to a name.
Yeah, it's like they're the Power Rangers who are in space.
It'd be like Power Rangers Turbo being called Power Rangers in cars.
Yeah,
I mean, get it.
I don't know. That might be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we are so close to Turbo. Like still a year away, but like
That's not so far away now. That's weird, right?
We're in Ranger Danger Year 4. That's like within our grasp.
Yeah.
And that's like some stuff I have a real nostalgic fondness for.
And we only have to get halfway through that before we get the Space Rangers. Like, they're not the Space Rangers then, but that's the cast.
Guys, I'm telling you now, we're 18 months away. TJ is the fucking best.
Yeah, I think as much as Adam is my favourite, I think Michael would probably debate him being the best and with TJ being up there.
I absolutely understand why Adam is the best, and Adam is great.
Yes.
But just that dude.
TJ's your fave.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
I love all those guys so much.
Yeah. It's a super good cast.
Yeah. We will get to that a long time from now.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, so they have to go fight some Cogs who are down in, like, Mad Max, apparently.
Yeah.
They're just in a desert with some bits of stuff in it.
Like mining equipment or something? Sure.
Maybe. They do a fight.
It's a pretty shitty fight.
It is,
and
isn't
I
it?
think it's American footage.
I don't know, but I'd be willing to believe it.
There's a shot there of a crane that it says Angel Grove something. It's
Right,
clearly
okay.
like a sign that's put on it.
Sure.
And I feel like there's maybe... Because they're standing on top of like that crane or whatever that says Angel Grove something. And then there's a close-up of them like doing their poses.
Yep.
But that's clearly them just standing on the ground.
Yep.
So I feel like that tiny little bit is Sentai footage. But then the
fight
rest
itself
is American.
Yeah, it's just... You know what the real problem is? It's slow.
It's slow.
And, like...
The music is actually terrible. I don't know what that song
I don't know what
is.
this new fight song is, but...
It's super bad, which is really a shame because the Zeo music that's everywhere else throughout this episode is good.
Yep.
It ramps it up. But,
yeah, and I don't know why you wouldn't play the theme over this fight.
No.
But...
I mean, I get maybe you don't want to use it on a shitty fight.
And it's just the other problem is, like, it's just foot soldiers and none of them explode or anything. They just, like, disappear through a portal at the end.
It's a low energy fight.
It's like, yeah, we scared them off.
And after the fight, they come away being like, wow, that was really tough. Like, those Cogs, they're pretty scary. It's like, nah, that did not come across in the scene at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did not sell that in.
It's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff that works for selling those fights.
Yep.
And it just doesn't quite nail any of it.
Yeah, I think the actual line is, those Cogs are brutal, but that's not...
I mean, like, at one point, one of their masks opens up and it shoots lasers out of it.
Yeah, that's the one moment. It's like, ooh, that's something interesting. But yeah.
Anyway, so that's the problem too. That's the climax of the episode.
Yeah.
And it just, like... Give them a shitty monster to get in their Zords, and even not in their Zords, right? Presumably they've got some sort of finisher attack.
Yep.
Just, like, cut it before they make the monster grow, and, like, give them a victory.
Yeah.
But, anyway. So we're at the juice bar.
Yep.
Everyone's dressed in their new colours now, and Billy is in black.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird.
He's been in blue for 156 episodes.
Uh-huh. That must be weird for him seeing... Adam? No, Rocky, sorry. Yeah, Adam's green. Seeing Rocky in blue and being like, oh, that's my colour, buddy.
Yeah, it would be. Like, if you consider this show, these characters as people instead of as, like, thinly drawn
Cardboard
action
cutouts.
figures that they often are. Like, yeah, imagine you were the blue Power Ranger. You're the longest serving of anyone who's still a Power Ranger. And you were blue for that whole time. You never changed. You never did anything different. And then you're like, all right, I'm stepping down. And he's just like, all right, I'll be blue. Like, you could never green and a black and just leave blue for a little bit, like retiring a jersey.
Even just for Rocky, why not just give it a week? Come in grey, you know, like as like a sign of respect or mourning or something.
Have like a blue tie or like an armband or a headband.
Ease into it.
Yeah.
Not be like, I'm the blue one now. You lost your blue, buddy. Suck it up.
Oh boy. All right. So, Ninja.
Yeah.
He's back in the temple.
Yep.
Which I assume means we will never see him again.
Definitely.
It's a bit of a bummer, but
yes, kind of nice that they tried to explain it away.
Yeah.
Like, he's gone home isn't a super great explanation because he always did that and just came out when they needed him.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to think that he couldn't do that anymore, but we just know that he's not going to.
Anyway, the Zords are gone. I don't like. The thing is, I know Zordon said that thing about like I'll reveal all of your things to you in due time. I assume the Zords aren't going to take more than another episode or two to show up. He maybe should have mentioned to them, like,
don't worry,
guys,
you have Zords.
if a giant monster shows up,
we're not fucked.
I do have a preparation for that.
Yeah.
Because as it is now, they're like, we'd better beat them while they're small.
Yeah, got a real ticking clock on this one.
Maybe the Machine Empire can't make them grow.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously not. But for all they know,
Yeah.
that's a Rita and Lord Zedd gimmick. Not a, like, Power Rangers Forever gimmick.
They're in the dark about a lot of things. So Kat's parents said Tanya can stay with them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I got questions about that. Namely, how did you sell that? who is this woman? Where did your friend Aisha go?
Can we see her birth certificate, please?
Yeah, what's the immigration status? Like, this woman lived in Africa.
It was the 90s, man. It was, I'm not going to say a less racist time, because that's not true, but a calmer time in those ways.
Oh, and she's enrolled at school and starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
She's going to have a lot to learn.
And, like, so everyone's like, all right, the Power Rangers are back. And I like that as a beat. It's like, yeah, okay.
We're back in the rhythm of things.
That was weird, but we're Power Rangers again. Like,
this is the juice bar.
Everything's back to normal.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
One of them goes over to Bulk and Skull's house.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You're like, right, great, everything's back to normal. Bulk and Skull come in. You're like, hey, it's Bulk and Skull, and behind them carrying their stuff is Goldar and Rito.
Yeah, Goldar in a maid outfit. Like, oh, okay. we clearly missed a beat there.
I have changed my mind about back to normal.
Yeah.
I have to say, someone says, like, it seems weird that you're not going to be there with us, Billy.
Yeah.
Why is Billy not going to be there with them?
I think they mean, like, in the field.
But it feels like they mean, like, at school or when we're Power Rangers. And, like, look, if Billy's finished school, Billy is so far beyond school that it's a very good question why he's there at all.
He also just looks older than the other
Yes. And, like, he's not going to be in the field. But presumably they're going to see him all the time. He's in the opening credits.
Yeah.
It's just weird to call out in that way.
I like the acknowledgement of it, of like, I think maybe could have used with a bit of specificity of them saying it's going to be weird to be out there fighting monsters or whatever without you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the acknowledgement of it.
I'm excited about what, like, I don't know that it will play out this way. The idea of Billy as mission control.
Yes.
Like, I want Billy to, like, call them while they're in the field and, like, tell them stuff. Because they don't really have a science guy on that team anymore. And as much as I love Alpha, like, them having, like, a real person.
Yes.
Who can be, like... And, like, maybe sometimes he goes down and, like, fights a Cog because... He still can do martial arts.
He still knows how to punch. Yeah.
He just, like, isn't going to be in the field all the time.
He's very much, weirdly enough, the model for Kendall.
Yes.
In that, like, Kendall still becomes a Power Ranger every once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
But she's basically that. Like, she can join a fight when she needs to, but she's mainly mission control and the science person.
Yeah.
And it's a cool role to have on the team.
Yeah. And I like David Yost. I'm glad David Yost is sticking around.
Yeah, I like David Yost.
I find that... I don't want to, like, I'm worried about what I'm going to say. In light of what we know about what he was enduring on the show.
Yes.
It's a fascinating thing to me that he stuck around even here.
Yes.
Like, when he was a Power Ranger, I get that, even though, like, you know, other people who were Power Rangers also left. I get why you'd be like, I'm still a power... Like, that's still something.
As someone who's invested in the show,
yeah,
it seems like a demotion. But maybe as someone who's just cranking out a children's television show that you have no investment in, maybe it's just like, oh, I'm still in the cast.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, like, he's still in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's getting paid less or more because he's been there longer or, like, what the deal is there, but... I imagine he's probably shooting less.
Exactly.
He's probably going on location less.
Yep.
Like, if he's getting paid about the same, I can definitely see how this is like, yeah, you don't have to do any more backflips, dude. You can just, like, sit in a chair probably with a dude in a robot costume and, like, say nonsense and you still get paid. So, it's just, like, it's strange that he would ultimately decide to leave and that this isn't the place. But... I'm happy that he stuck around because I like that guy. Absolutely.
And on Billy, it's weird now that this is the turning point where there's no longer any original Power Rangers on the team.
Yeah,
this is the moment.
I always, like, you know, Tommy's at, like, an edge case where, like, he shows up in episode 17.
Yes.
So, for all intents and purposes, he was on board the show from, like, day 2. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so, like... Tommy is the Captain America to the Avengers. You know what I mean?
Sure, yes.
Where, like, technically not a founding Avenger.
Yes.
But Yeah, basically a founding Avenger.
He shows up early on, and no one's surprised when they make the movie, and he's there from the start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
does that make Billy like Hank Pym?
I mean, there's
like a founding Avenger, but these days he's kind of in that supporting role. And one time he hit a woman, and really, actually, guys, you should let it go because it's comics, and it's not even just don't stop making it a thing, and it'll stop being a thing.
I have weird feelings about that.
Oh, I have very straightforward feelings. It was a dumb thing that happened in one comic once, and if other people would stop making it a big deal, it wouldn't have become Hank Pym's thing.
Yeah, but I also get that just moving past that like it never happened is not a good message either.
I mean, I get that, but remember that thing that happened to Miss Marvel in the 70s?
Yeah, but that happened to her.
Sure.
So you can be let's not talk about that anymore.
Please, let's not talk about that anymore. Look, if they decide to adapt that for a movie, they've made a mistake.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, that's not something that she did, so has responsibility for. That happened to her.
Certainly.
Whereas with Hank Pym, there's a responsibility there to have someone be responsible for their actions.
I absolutely understand that, but I think if someone just wrote Hank Pym being like, "Hey, I'm sorry that happened," and the Wasp was like, "That's fine. You were under the effects of some weird
yeah, if you want to retcon it, fine."
No, I'm sure he was.
I don't think he was.
I'm sure there's a science thing involved.
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. And the problem is now you can't just stop it from being a thing.
Yes.
Because for at least the past 20 years...
Should we explain what it is?
No, people can Google.
Okay. Okay, so just to give some broad context for the listeners, Hank Pym was the original Ant-Man in the Avengers. Some way into the run of the Avengers, he did a thing that was unconscionable and immoral and is frowned upon by polite...
I feel like now we have to say it because now people are going to infer some horrible things.
Yes. So basically, the Wasp. She's the lady one that flies around. Hank Pym hit her.
Yeah.
It's a domestic abuse thing.
Yeah. Well, Jim Shooter always said that his intention was he throws his arms up and she's standing there and he's not really paying attention.
Yeah.
But it's definitely drawn as a backhand.
Oh, yeah. So I think that became a way more serious thing in the artistic process.
Yes.
Where someone interpreted a script in a way that left a mark on a character for 50 years because he slapped a woman across the face, and that's horrible.
It's the panels on his Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And if it was written as throws his hands up, it's not.
And it's not weird for, particularly in that point of time, artists to play pretty loose with the script because they're not paying a whole lot of attention, and then they just have to roll with that when they're doing the dialogue afterwards.
I mean, the Silver Surfer was just created by Jack Kirby. Stan Lee was they made a giant space dude, and Jack Kirby brought the pages back and was like, "Oh yeah, they made a silver dude on a surfboard as well. So good luck with that one, Stan."
Yep.
Comics. They're insane.
They're pretty strange.
We had a conversation about that during the week. Comics are mental.
Yeah. Which is why I love them, really. I mean, Jack Kirby inventing weird shit for no reason is responsible for a lot of what makes Marvel Comics great these days.
A lot of good stuff.
That man was a genius in so many ways. And I guess I shouldn't get ranting about how Jack Kirby is underappreciated because I'll be talking about that forever. But man, maybe learn some stuff about Jack Kirby. It's worthwhile.
Every sentence of his Wikipedia page gets considerably more nuts the more you read.
Oh, there's definitely a movie in Jack Kirby's life.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Argo as a character.
Yep.
Not as much as he should have been as far as I'm concerned, but the story of Argo was just one fraction of his life.
Anyway, that's Comics Danger Zeo. I'm going to have to come up with a new form for that because it doesn't...
Roll off the tongue like it used to?
No, because it would be Comics... No. All right, we'll figure that out.
Could it just be like Zeo Comics?
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
No, because
either.
then we're going to have to change it halfway through the run and go back and retcon it, remember?
Yeah, re-record all the lines.
Yeah. So, no monsters.
No.
No...
So since we're at the end, there are just one or two things that I've missed my opportunity to talk about that I want to talk about real quick.
Okay, I should say, we said we were going to talk about O Ranger, but we had more to say in this episode than I thought we would. So,
And also, we don't see the Zords in a lot of the stuff. I think that is probably better for next week.
So we'll save it for next week.
Yep. So, apparently, the Machine Empire has control of a chain of galaxies.
Oh, yeah, I wrote that down too.
Of which our solar system is the last link.
Yeah, you
But
know.
the way it's stated is like the writers don't know the difference between a galaxy and a solar system.
But also, like, someone says, oh, so once they've conquered Earth, like, he says it like, once they've conquered Earth, it'll turn into a bazooka.
Yeah.
Like, once they've conquered Earth, they have all the planets in the chain, and that, like,
They
that's a
win.
Yahtzee or a Tetris
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
bingo, yeah.
It's like, that's not, if they conquer, like, a row of planets, what does that get them? Does that just get them a promotion in the United Alliance of Evil? There's a complex area defense game going on where they have to, like, conquer whole rows. If there is, I want to know everything about that. Maybe Earth's the center square, and that's why everyone tries to attack Earth.
I mean, there you go. You've just justified a lot of Power Rangers.
But, like...
But in the moment, what just annoyed me was the fact that there's a significant difference in scale between galaxies and solar systems.
No, that doesn't sound right.
And also, a chain?
Yeah, chain.
That's not
Yeah,
how...
like Ghost Rider. Like a chain.
Yeah, no, I know what a Ghost Rider is.
He's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he's dope.
Yeah, I got to catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like, you could just start at the start of this season, probably. You've missed, like, 2 seasons or so, didn't you?
No, I got halfway through season 3.
Oh, okay.
I've got like 12 episodes
No,
to watch.
halfway through season 3 is, like, where it got good again. So
Okay.
you could, like, catch up and...
It didn't get bad for me. It's just that was around the time where other superhero shows hit the scene that had superheroes.
Yeah.
So if I was going to watch some superhero shows, I might as well watch some with superheroes
Well,
in them.
man, Ghost Rider just showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, there you go.
And, like, it's
Yeah.
just Ghost Rider. He's just a ghost and he's riding.
I am so much more on board with that because it's Robbie Reyes.
Yeah.
Um,
The only reason it would have been acceptable to bring the other one back is if they'd gotten Nicolas Cage.
he'd do it too.
Of course he would.
He'd
He has so
100%
much
do it.
tax debt.
And so little self-respect.
Can you tell me you can't see Nick Cage and Clark Gregg in a scene together in your head?
Oh God, it'd be so
It'd
good.
be so good.
Like it'd kind of be an insult to Clark Gregg.
Yeah.
Is the problem?
That dude's doing perfectly serviceable TV work.
I think Clark Gregg does a super good job. Like, he doesn't have a super... Like, it's kind of a thankless role in
Yeah.
a lot of ways, but he does it incredibly well. Like, he's the heart of that show.
For a dude who, like, was cast for a 2-scene gag in one movie 10 years ago nearly, like, he's turned that into some proper work.
You know what I think about Clark Gregg?
What?
His secret acting power is flirting.
I have seen lots of people on the internet who want to have sex with Clark Gregg.
Because, like, all of the characters that he has the best relationships with are the characters that he's flirting with. And that's not just in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you go back to Sports Night,
Yep.
the chemistry between him and Felicity Huffman,
Man, that was a good show.
it's a good show.
Good show.
Yeah, Aaron Sorkin knows what he's doing, that guy. So yeah, Clark Gregg, master of the flirting. Get that on the shirt. There you go.
Oh god, no! Because if we put that on a shirt, someone will wear it to meet him.
Oh yeah,
And you're
that's-
like,
yeah, okay.
that's-
Nix that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's definitely been a detour.
Yes.
Hang
on, I see
yeah,
that-
Matt, there was some stuff you wanted to talk about.
There was maybe one more thing. Yes. Oh, yes. So, we're talking about the throne being missing from the Moon Palace. It's in Serpentera.
Yep. Sure
Yeah.
is.
There you go. Look at that. It's again, and we've kind of made this point already, but mind-bending to me that there's that level of continuity in the show.
Yep. But
they forgot what the room where Zordon is called.
Yep.
What? What is going on with those guys?
Maybe it's the only thing that's comfortable for the actor in the Lord Zedd suit to sit down on.
Oh, there's no way that is not just the footage from last time Serpentera was used.
That may be true.
No. I would bet $1,000 that is the case.
Okay. That's a lot of money.
Look, I'm very confident.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else you want to talk about, Matt?
I think that's it.
All right, let's rank this episode.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Nothing
and the
happens.
fight is dumb.
That climax really kills a lot of the energy. For me, it's not terrible. I don't think it's a pentagon. but it's probably Madison Square Garden for me at least.
I'd agree.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
There was like, if you tore out the back half.
Don't say tore, it hurts my heart.
Oh, if you
removed,
if you Titanist out
there we
the
go.
back half.
That doesn't sound good as a phrase.
I don't know what's next. I don't know what they're going to replace it with. No. If you pulled out the back half and like made that fight better,
yeah,
it's a good episode.
Yes.
So I think definitely it's a Madison Square Gardens.
I think like Robert McKee talks about in his book Story that a good last act can save a bad film.
Yes, absolutely.
And a bad last act can tank a fantastic first 2/3 of the film.
Yep.
If you don't land the climax, you're done fucked up. And that's what happened here.
No last act can make Fantastic Four.
No last act, all last act, who knows? I think saying that there's a structure to that film. We were talking about the more recent Fantastic Four.
It's really actually just first and third act. Like, It's got a climactic fight. It just doesn't have the bit in the middle where everyone...
that gives it any sort of context or meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about 90 minutes of first act and then 10 minutes of act 3.
What a weird movie.
It's so bad. I'm still angry about that movie.
You guys can't see his face, but he definitely is angry.
That cast is so good.
So good. And even, like, the first hour, it's not the Fantastic Four movie I'd make, but it's a Fantastic Four movie I'd be happy to watch.
Yes.
And then it just, like, they suddenly they join the military, but they, like... And then Doctor Doom, and then...
I watched Creed recently.
Yeah, I haven't seen Creed. Is it good?
I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it. It's basically just...
You love boxing, though.
No, I don't love boxing.
No.
It's not true.
Okay. So,
But that film makes me appreciate boxing, which is kind of a big deal. And it is structurally basically just Rocky. But man, Michael B. Jordan deserves to be a superhero.
Yep.
Because that performance is amazing. And honestly, Sylvester Stallone deserves an award for his performance in that film.
Is this an opportunity for me to bring out my Sylvester Stallone impression?
No. I'm sorry that I've done this.
Human Torch! I'm the Thing! There's Glover in time!
That's not Sylvester Stallone.
It's fantastic!
Okay.
It's Dr. Doom!
I've done a bad thing.
Adrian!
I'd like to apologise to our listeners.
I love doing a Sylvester Stallone impression. It makes me so happy.
Anyway.
Okay.
The actor who shall never be named from now on this podcast.
Sylvester Stallone.
That's the guy, I think, does a genuinely incredible job. And it is a powerful film.
Okay, so go see Creed.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, if you're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's a good, I think, preview of what... oh, no, I've forgotten his name. I had it in my head.
Ryan Coogler?
Thank you. Ryan Coogler will be doing with Black Panther very soon.
Michael Jordan's in that, isn't he?
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Creed.
No, in Black Panther.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's like a bad guy.
Oh.
I think he's the bad guy in Black
Ooh.
Panther. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm worried it's going to tank because it's got black people in it and America will have a problem with it for some reason.
I don't think that'll be a problem, to be honest.
But, like...
there's no one who came out of... Except for, like, super intense racists, who came out of Civil War not thinking, like, that Black Panther's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Because he's a cool dude.
That suit, CGI, all the time.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
I did read that.
How bonkers is that?
That's pretty great. It does not look it.
No.
So, again, for listeners, for context, in Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, all of the costume is completely CGI. Basically, they had an actor on set in something resembling a costume and completely, like, painted over it in CGI. Looks great. Good job.
Bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, that's been like half an hour of detour.
Yeah.
So we will be back next week.
Yes.
With The Shooting Star, Power Rangers Zeo Episode 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a guest, but we're just waiting to confirm who that is at the moment. So.
And we may talk about O-Ranger at that point.
Yeah, we'll see. We will definitely talk about O-Ranger at some point.
We will,
But
absolutely.
this one's run long, so let's get it done.
Cool.
Thank you guys. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely excited. I want to see the Zords now.
Mm-hmm. In that way, I think it's good that they did keep something for next episode to keep that going.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't handled super well, but yeah, I'm excited too.
All right.
Cool.
We'll be back then, guys.
We'll see you next week. And remember, stay in shape.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a thing now.